Good evening, NorCal-karters. This is Jason, and tonight we have a special guest from the Northern-Nevada-Kart-Club, Luke Anderson. He is the president of the club, and the reason I wanted Luke on this evening was, quite honestly, Northern Nevada Kart Club, they sponsored the website, and we don't have a lot of racing going on, so let's try to keep everybody plugged in and interested, and that's what this show is about. Luke, good evening.
Good evening, Jason.
How are you doing?
I'm doing good. Thanks for having me on. I appreciate what you're doing with the podcast, and happy to be a guest.
Oh, no problem at all. I'm actually, I'm enjoying them. I have guests on, and I get to learn something about every single guest, and I actually really enjoy the podcast. And thank you. Thank you to your club and your members, for sponsoring a portion of our website. We have Northern Nevada Kart Club on the calendar and a couple of other places. So we do appreciate that. And for those that are listening, their website is nnkcreno.com. So that's nnkcreno, just like Northern Nevada Kart Club, Reno.com. And I think Kelsey, does she do the website for you?
Yes, Kelsey, our treasurer, does the website and does a fantastic job with it.
So I've cited your site to other people many times because she has done a great job of laying out practical, easy information. I hate to say it, her calendar is better than mine. So kudos to Kelsey and the Kart Club. Again, more clubs. If you're listening to this, just go check them out, nnkcreno.com, just to get an idea of what other clubs are doing for their web presence. But it's not flashy. It's not complicated. It's straightforward. And all the information's kind of right there that you really need to go to get you on the track at least.
Yeah, she has set it up in a very intuitive way that someone that has never seen anything in karting can go to it and really follow her guide for how to kind of get started in karting. I mean, she's done a great job with that by showing the local resources, the regional resources, all the classes, all the equipment necessary. Really, it just breaks down for anyone new to the sport. It's all in one. So she's done a great job.
Yeah, no, it's a good web presence for sure. So, let's give our listeners some background. Who are you?
Yes. Probably not very many people have heard my name in the small community of karting, and that's because I just got into the sport 3 years ago. Going way back, I grew up in the northern Nevada area, just south of Reno in the Minden-Gardnerville area, but I was more of a baseball, basketball guy, and just liked watching racing and sports in general like that. But that's really the path that I took for most of my life. I went on to play college baseball at UNLV. I played professional baseball with the San Francisco Giants. I ended that and became a fire inspector and then / firefighter for the city of Phoenix for 10 years. Had some injuries, decided that the wife and I wanted to head back home. So we have family here in the Northern Nevada region. So that's why we came back, and I was looking for something to do. I wanted to get something that I can kind of get the blood flowing again. And that was really when my brother-in-law introduced me to his shifter kart, which at the time for someone new in karting, it was too intense for me. So I stepped down just a little bit and got into the KA. So that's really what I'm doing. I love driving my KA, and it's been a lot of fun. And that's kind of why I became the club president, is being retired from the Phoenix Fire Department has given me a bunch of extra time, and that allowed me to help kind of guide the club for this year. I was the secretary last year, and I appreciate the club membership for the vote of confidence to put me in the president position, and that's where I'm at. So that's kind of the story of how I got where I am.
Baseball, really?
Yes. Yeah.
Well, that you kind of threw me a curveball because I like I said, I went, "Who are you?" And I grew up playing baseball. I mean that was my sport. I never got in a go-kart till I was about 18.
Okay.
And then you said you had an injury, but you didn't mention that with the same sentence as baseball. Isn't that how most people end their baseball story? Oh, I was injured.
Yeah. Well, I was a pitcher, and I had arm injuries, surgeries, uh, doing rehab to get back, and all of that time. I mean, I talk to people about baseball, and especially professional baseball. It's a window, and that window of opportunity to slowly get smaller and smaller as you age and or have injuries, and that's really how it ends for a lot of people. I mean, we all want to get to the top and get there and stay there, but you see the guys that get there and stay there, and you kind of have a better perspective for how they had to fight for that position to stay there. I mean, to get to that level, there's a lot of work, and that's kind of my story. Is that I had the injury bug and then the age thing that just kind of closed on me, and had to find a new chapter.
And then, so you said you were a firefighter down in Phoenix?
Yeah, after I finished baseball, I became a fire inspector, which is kind of a way to get your foot in the door. I mean, becoming a professional firefighter, especially for a big city, is a tough. It's a tight competition. There's a lot of people that want those few jobs, so you've got to find a way to get in. And mine was becoming an inspector for a year right out of baseball, and then that got me the contacts needed to become a firefighter. And then I did that for 10 years, but again, I had some injuries during my firefighting career that pushed me out prematurely. I mean, I'm young enough, I should still be in the department, but I had those injuries, and thus couldn't continue with that. So that's really where I'm at now, and just kind of do a little odd jobs here or there for work, but most of my time is put towards the club.
Well, thank you for your service.
Thank you.
You guys are a special breed to run towards danger instead of away from it.
It was an interesting career, and I mean, surprisingly, the fires don't happen that often. You're always doing medical, so I mean, that's the thing. The guys and gals that are on the trucks right now are really working their butts off, doing a lot of medical calls and a few fires here or there. And those are the fun ones. That's race day for firefighters. That's, I mean, when the lights go off and you know it's a working fire and you're going to get to play. That's the same emotion you get when you see the green flag drop, and that's kind of those similarities. And same thing with baseball. I mean, there's just everything kind of tied to the competition and that feeling that you just kind of never goes away. And as you age, you find ways to just different outlets for it.
That's right, and that's what I love about karting. I mean, it's such a diverse community where at the track we are all attracted by motorsports or speed, at least if we're on the track. And then away from the track, we all do something slightly different to afford to go to the track. Right. So yeah, thanks for the background on that. I really I like it. We'll have to catch up later after the podcast on some of this stuff.
Anytime.
But yeah, I mean, you made it to the big leagues then.
Well, I wouldn't say that. I made it to the big league spring training, which is, for me, I mean, I'm happy with anything I got, but no, I won't ever claim to say that I made it to the big leagues. I was a journeyman AAA in Fresno for the mid-2000s, and really, that's, like I said, after a while, you kind of see the writing on the wall that at 27 years old, I'm sitting in the bullpen in AAA watching them call up a guy from AA that's 22. And at that point, you kind of know where you stand. And I wanted to get on with life at that point. There's some guys that keep pushing, and they get rewarded on their 30th birthday or something, and they're in the big leagues. And I just didn't have it in me to keep going that route. I was ready for something new, and that was kind of how it ended for me at 27. But yeah, it was a grind all the way to AAA, and just like I said, get the guys that get up to the big leagues and stay there is just a testament to their willpower and their perseverance and just everything. So, I mean, kudos to all those guys. And again, during these times, I feel bad for them because this is just the clock is ticking in professional baseball. I mean, not to go too far off of karting, but this is time that those guys can never get back. And when they're in their prime and this is their time to really, to make the money, they're missing out, and I feel bad for them. I hope that sports come back. I hope that everything comes back in a safe and healthy manner sooner than later.
Yeah, I'm pretty confident things will come back, but I'm an optimist. I mean, otherwise I would have shut the show down a long time ago. It's like, oh, we're done, doom and gloom. But yeah, I'm ready for the season to get going. So it's things. I believe things will get back to somewhat normal, and people will smell that two-stroke oil in the air, and they'll go, oh yeah, that's what I want to go do again.
Oh yeah, no, I think so. I think that's gonna get a lot of people back. I mean, with the nice weather and some of the tracks starting to open up, and I think the karting community taking the COVID-19 seriously enough that when they are at the track, they're going to be conscious of the social distancing and be able to still show everyone that the karting community can do our sport in a safe manner and be the model for it, which I think is something that is needed right now is a group or something that steps up and shows this is how it can be done, and we can follow guidelines and do it all safely, and everyone have a good time and go home clean and without bugs at the end of the day.
That's right. Absolutely. Now, you brought up a good point. I'm not going to, I normally like to put people on the spot, but I'm not going to put you on the spot with your take on the COVID thing. I've already had a couple of my own rants on a couple of other shows, and they're probably getting old to people. But as a president of a club, how are you guys navigating everything? Because I know you're open for practice to club members. So how are you guys managing that?
Well, we've had a lot of discussions. My fellow board members and I, dating all the way back to the middle of March when everything started going down, we had to make the decisions at that point. What were we going to do? And obviously, we followed all of our local guidelines, the mayor and the governor requirements in our area. But we took it a step further and said we're just going to limit the track to be open to our membership only. And even at that, only 2 per membership, so that we don't have too many people out there. I mean, with the weather getting really nice and the track is great right now, there's a lot of people that want to get out there. And we're on the airport property, so that we've got to follow their rules too. And they've got some gates closed, and they've allowed us to keep them open, or I should say access to them, with a lock of our own. And we want to be responsible with that as well. So right now, two people per membership, unless we got a couple kid drivers, then of course we want an adult with them. And that's pretty much it. We're not going to be doing any practice, open to practice to non-members for paying at all until we get a change from the local government. I mean, I kind of myself go off of the casinos. If they're not letting people in the casinos here, we're really not going to be doing any racing until that happens. And I think that's going to start opening up in the next month. So that's why we're looking at June as being a good month for us right now as a race month and getting back to somewhat of our normal schedule. But that's kind of what we're doing in the meantime, is just staying with 2 people per membership. And you got to get through 2 gates to get to the track. So it's a lot harder just to kind of make it a run in and run out type of thing. But we're trying to do our part. I'm not sure if we're doing everything right, but we're trying to make everyone happy, if that's even possible.
Yeah, I mean, my personal take when it comes to the karting and the stay in place order, we're not a sport where we're that close to our competitors anyway. I mean, the closest any of us get is probably afterwards, cracking open a few beverages and hanging out by a barbecue, and that's easily you could space yourself easy enough during that, but. I think this has been a very weird blanket approach to everything, and hopefully